Hello and welcome to Near Dark Podcast, episode 104. And today I am joined by Joseph.
Yo.
And the one speaking is Zombie. And the one and only. And today, the two of us are gonna talk about 2005's House of Wax. But before we do that, let's check in on each other. How are you feeling, Joseph?
I'm doing alright. I got vacation.
Life's good.
Yeah, just, chilling, sleeping
Yeah.
whenever I want to and stuff. So
Wake up whenever.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good. It's good. How are you doing?
I have 2 work days left before I go on vacation.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. But, it's the weekend. And I wanted to be free. So I'm a little sad over that.
Yeah.
Because I can't have those 2 days free when I wanted to. But hey, more pay, I guess.
Yeah, a bigger paycheck,
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah, like you said, we're gonna talk about House of Wax from 2005. But we will touch upon the original movie from 1933 as well as the remake from 1953, which this movie is a remake of. It's a bit it's a bit convoluted, but I will go into it when we start talking about the movie. Recently seen.
Yeah, about that. I have so far seen 2 movies, and those 2 movies I saw with you.
Mm-hmm. Well, we are gonna talk about them.
Yeah.
A bit later in this episode, but
Have you seen anything?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of things besides the movies we're gonna talk about. I'm just gonna mention 2 of the movies. First off, I finally saw Midsommar from 2019. From director Ari. What the fuck is his last name? Ari Aster, I think. He's the guy who did Hereditary.
Oh.
And I watched the director's cut version together with a friend, and the director's cut version is about 20 minutes longer than the theatrical version. And the plot is about this young American couple, which, their relationship is, crumbling, and after a family tragedy, they stay together.
Break up?
No, they
Oh.
don't. They stay together. And they venture to a small remote village in Sweden somewhere to attend a once in a lifetime type of midsummer celebration. And it doesn't take too long before they realize that there's something really, really off with the villagers and the whole celebration. It's, I mean, I wasn't one of those people who thought Hereditary was the best horror movie of the past 20 years or something. When it came out, I thought it was a good movie, but it had some flaws, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I didn't have, any urge to watch Midsommar. But it's it turned out to be a really good movie. It's not scary in the slightest, but it's so weird, disgusting, um, and yeah, you have to watch it to understand what I mean.
Yeah.
But it's a movie I will rewatch at some point. Definitely, I highly recommend it. It was really good.
The premise of it sounds just a teensy bit kind of like Wicker Man, like the first one,
Yeah,
not with the one with Nicky.
yeah, the original from the 70s. We've done
Yeah.
an episode on that one, and yeah, there are some similarities between the movies.
I think
you can tell that they've taken some inspiration from that movie.
I think the main thing is that the Wicker Man does have elements of the midsummer celebration in it,
Yeah.
which is like, yeah, that's neat and all.
And the thing with the celebration of midsummer here in Sweden is that, for example, for Americans, when if they come here during midsummer and attend a midsummer celebration, they might experience it like something really weird.
Yeah,
And that's, the whole idea behind the movie, I kind of guess, because they don't really celebrate midsummer as normal people does in the movie. So yeah. But I won't go into any more details about it, and I think most people have seen it. But if you haven't seen it, Sabe, you need to sit down and watch it. And if you want company, just let me know and I'll sit down with you.
like I have wanted to watch it like for the longest time, but I don't know. It's
We should
just never came to.
Yeah, we should cover it on the podcast at some point.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not scary in the slightest, but it's so weird and disgusting and odd that it's really hard to,
Yeah. It won't be the first like movie that's not scary that we have covered. So
yeah. Anyways, the other movie I'm gonna mention real quick, and I've talked about this already. Me and Blue talked about it at the beginning of the year, or like a month or two into the year. I can't remember really. Anyways, we
at the first episode of the year.
yeah, I think so. We went and watched Megan at the theater, and
Oh yeah, that robot thing.
yeah, exactly. The new doll slash robot slasher movie. There will be a sequel in 2025, by the way. Megan 2.0. Anyways, me and Tagger sat down last night, and it was a rewatch for me. And we watched the unrated version, which wasn't the one you got to see in the theaters.
Of course.
It had a little bit more violence and blood in it, but it's not the goriest thing in the world. But yeah, I still really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to the sequel. Tagger liked it as well, so. But
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't really had that much time to watch anything else. I watched a couple of other movies, but they won't fit into the show, so I'm just leaving them at that.
Yeah. The question is though that if the rated or the unrated version became more popular and which angle they are gonna go for, or if they're gonna go for both in the sequel.
Well, the unrated version just have a little bit more blood. That's the only thing that's different between the theatrical and the unrated version.
Okay.
And I mean a little bit more blood. I think there's like 2 or 3 seconds here and there in the kill scenes. So I mean, it's not a lot. It's not a lot longer than the theatrical version, but yeah, I still really enjoyed the movie. It's a lot of fun, and I really like killer toy movies as well. So
Yeah.
but that's about everything I've watched.
Okay. Not an awful lot of movies compared to like the usual.
No, but I've been busy with other stuff, so.
Yeah. Now that one is actually free to do things other than like sleep and work
Yeah.
and be tired all the time,
Mm.
or like simply have more time to dedicate to other stuff,
Yeah.
one tends to get busy.
Yeah, exactly. Or just, sleep.
Relaxing.
Yeah. They spend a lot of YouTubing.
You're gonna become a YouTuber. I see.
No, I mean, I've been watching
know.
a lot of YouTube.
I know.
Yeah, but shall we move into the trailer and then perhaps start talking about some House of Waxes?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's getting late. What do you want to do?
Keep going.
Why don't we just camp out? I mean, we're close enough, right?
Where the hell is this place? Town's not even on the GPS. Hello? I don't think anyone's here. Hey, where's that House of Wax? It is wax. Literally.
You're not gonna go in there, are you?
Look how detailed this is.
Okay, this is getting kind of creepy.
I heard something. What are you gonna do to me?
Go, Charlie, run!
They're all wax, everyone.
Behind you!
What's going on?
After getting car troubles, a group of teens find themselves in a seemingly empty town, fighting to the death in order not to become the next exhibit in the town's wax museum. So, was this a first time watch for you, or was this a second or third one for you?
This was a first time watch with all three of the movies, actually, for me.
Oh, nice. Nice.
The thing was, when you mentioned that we were gonna talk about this movie, the 2005 movie, I knew that there were a movie from 1953 starring Vincent Price. So I was thinking, like, if we're gonna talk about the remake, we might as well watch the original in quotations.
Yeah, the one we thought were the original.
Yeah. And then someone told me that, hey, that's not the original. The original is from 1933 and called Mystery of the Wax Museum. I was like, oh god, no. Okay, well, I need to watch that as well then. So I watched that, and I dug around a little bit, and apparently the mystery of the Wax Museum is based on a unpublished short story called The Wax Works from 1932. The 1933 movie. I mean, you didn't watch that one, right?
No,
Oh,
I have not watched that one.
okay. Well, the 1933 movie has a similar plot to the 1953 movie, but it has a lot more. For example, it got a female character who is really sarcastic, and she's basically the comedic relief of the movie.
Huh. Nice.
And besides that, the 1933 movie and the 1953 movies are pretty similar to one another. The 1933 movie is okay for what it is. It's an interesting little, piece of history. I mean, the movie is 90 years old. And
Yeah.
some of the stuff they did in that movie was actually really impressive. But I mean, it's nothing I will have any great hurry to rewatch. If I have to rewatch it, I will do, of course. But moving on from that, the 1953 movie starring Vincent Price. What did you think about that movie?
I feel pretty similar. Like, it's not something that you're gonna like. Oh my god, I have to watch this so many times, or this is something I can watch so many times without getting tired of it. But that doesn't diminish what made it, or rather, it doesn't diminish what it is.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting to see, like,
Yeah.
what inspired the 2005
Yeah.
movie.
I was actually really surprised and impressed by the 1953 movie, what they did, in the introduction of the movie when they set the Wax Museum on fire. And I mean, they must have put the place on fire for real.
It sure looked like it,
Yeah.
considering effects were what they are now.
No, if they had done that movie today, everything would have been CGI.
Yeah.
But it was the introduction of the movie was really impressive. I was shocked by what they did, and I loved the fact that they threw basically everything into the camera as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a 3D movie, so that's why they did that. But I mean, they almost
It kind of looked like, at times, like they hit something behind it because the camera wobbled for like a second.
yeah. And at one point they almost hit the camera lens as well.
Yeah. Like that was a dangerous job to have.
Yeah.
Like shooting that movie.
And Vincent Price was fucking awesome in it as well. I mean,
Wait,
I felt he didn't really work as when he was sitting in the wheelchair, but as the ghoul, he worked really well.
it really worked well for his character as well.
Yeah.
And like, sure, you could see it from like, you could either see it from a mile away or just simply think that, wait a second, I have background noises I need to take care of. My cat decided to come in with a jingly ball. And like just go ham in the background.
Ah, okay.
And I could see the camera or the mic picking it up. But yeah, it worked that he was in a wheelchair to like throw you off. To think like either it was one of his apprentices that was the actual killer and he just told them who to kill.
Yeah. Well,
But
I mean, back in 1953, this was probably something new. I mean, nowadays, I mean, it's been 70 years since that movie came out. A lot has happened between.
like twist villains.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, nowadays you can basically figure out with your ass who's the killer. And one thing I really liked with the 1953 movie was that it almost threaded the proto slasher territory.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a slasher movie. It's not, but it almost threaded the prototype of the slasher movie, that kind of territory, like Psycho and Peeping Tom and so on.
Yeah. If for example the scene with the guillotine would have been successful, or rather the guy would have been successful with the guillotine, it would have gone over that threshold.
No, not really. I mean, a slasher movie doesn't need to have slashings in it. A slasher movie is a body count movie.
But that would still increase the body count.
Yeah, yes, of course. But a lot of people think that a slasher movie needs to have knives, axes, machetes, whatever.
I just think of it as like it would have been very bloody. Is the thing.
Yeah.
Just a beheading of the thing, because the earlier killings had been very bloodless,
Yeah.
so to speak.
That is kind of surprising, actually, considering the Hammer movies. I think they were produced during the 50s. The British remakes of Dracula, The Mummy, Frankenstein, etc., starring what was his name? Christopher Lee as Dracula in basically each movie about Dracula.
But at the same time, it makes sense for this certain movie to not have that much blood in it, because you want your victims dead without doing too much harm to the body, in order to, like, sure, you can cover it up with wax, but indents will form and whatnot.
Yeah.
And if the body is dead, it cannot, like, heal, and so it will be hard to, like, seal that up.
Which is something they completely ignored in the 2005 remake.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we'll come to that in a little bit.
Well, thinking about it, I'm not sure if two people were made to actually be a part of it. The wax house. In that one. We'll talk about it later, but shall we move on, or do you have anything else you wanted to say about the 1953 one?
I mean, it's a good movie for what it is, but at the same time, I feel kind of like the same way I do with the 1933 movie. I won't have any great hurry to rewatch it. If I have to, I will do it, but I mean, I won't rewatch it anytime soon, at least.
Yeah. It certainly was fun watching it and see what the inspiration were for 2005, as mentioned.
Yeah.
And just see that, as you also mentioned, that piece of history.
Yeah.
And also just Vincent Price is a nice actor. He has a very calming voice.
And he got charisma, I kind of guess. I mean, he was a brilliant actor. definitely. And
Yeah.
I actually would like to cover some more movies with him at some point, because I like how he acts in the movies I've seen him in. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, the 2005 movie then. You asked me if it was a first time watch for me, and yes, it was.
Yeah, I thought I remember you saying that in Discord.
Yeah. It was a first time watch for me, but I knew about this movie mostly because but when it was initially released, everyone who had seen it said that it was a piece of shit, and I should ignore it as the plague. And when I can't remember exactly why people said it, but
It could have been partly because of Paris Hilton.
yeah, but most people said that the best part of the entire movie, and this is a spoiler for the movie for those who haven't seen it. Most people said that the best part of the entire film was that when Paris Hilton got killed.
And that further, like, emphasizes that people did not mostly like this movie because Paris Hilton was in it. And I think
Yeah, but
Paris Hilton was bigger then than she is now.
yeah, everyone was fucking talking about her. Every
Yeah.
outlet was writing about her. She was fucking everywhere.
Yeah, which is why her being in a horror movie just for the sex appeal, kind of like.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't think her acting was that bad. I actually think her acting was pretty good in this one.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think-
I've seen hell of a lot worse acting than hers.
Yeah. I think it was more that they didn't like the person enough to like ignore if she was acting good or not.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the thing.
yeah, probably.
I think this time and day, it would be like seeing Kim Kardashian or any of the Kardashians in a horror movie for the sex appeal of it.
Yeah,
And people would have like, I think, a very similar reaction, even if maybe one of them were very good at acting or like okay at acting. It would still have like seeing a Kim Kardashian in, or rather, what feels like out of their element is. I'm not talking to you. My cat is going ham again. I don't know why. She's just decided that she's gonna go around and make noise with anything that is movable.
but yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
I didn't think Paris Hilton was bad in the movie. I mean, it's a slasher movie, so who gives a shit, really?
Yeah, like, to be honest, certain slasher movies just don't have good actors. So there has been far worse acting.
I mean, this was a multi-million-dollar remake, so I don't think they would have cast anyone who couldn't act, and she can act.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and like-
yeah, I don't know, but I think I don't think it's fair to the movie hating the movie just because Paris Hilton is in it. I mean, I didn't give a shit about her being in it.
People hate things for less.
Yeah, well,
So yeah.
well, at least I mean, it's 18 years since this movie came out, so
Yeah.
I've read
And I think-
that some people have started to appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if I had seen this movie when it was initially released, which I didn't because of all of the shit talking, I probably would have liked it. Even though Paris Hilton was in it, I was one of those people that couldn't stand Paris Hilton.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I think she did a great job here. Well, perhaps not a great job, but a good job at least.
she didn't do like a lot of acting, and her role was like
I mean,
the role she was playing was very generic.
Well, her character was barely in the fucking movie.
Yeah,
So I mean, it would have been another thing if her character was the leading lady of the movie. That
Yeah.
would have been a completely different thing. But she's one of those characters that shows up to die, sort of.
yeah, and like again, she was playing a very like generic role in a slasher movie, and so like it is not to diminish her acting, but it's not a hard role to like play,
No, exactly.
which I think worked in her favor. That she didn't get this complex character.
Well, this movie...
I don't know if she can or cannot play those characters, but like I think if she was gonna play any like characters, I think the roles she played worked very well for her acting and just the kind of person she is.
Yeah. Another thing I thought was a bit weird with the movie was the running time. It's 1 hour and 52 minutes, I think. And
Yeah.
before we sat down to watch it, I was like, okay, slasher movie that is almost 2 hours long. That's usually a warning sign.
Yeah, that they're just gonna drag certain scenes and whatnot.
Yeah, it's slasher movie. The best slasher movies are around 90 minutes. It's supposed to be, a roller coaster ride, but
Yeah,
Uh,
it's supposed to go fast, and
yeah,
a lot of things is supposed to happen in that time frame.
yeah. But
keep you on your toes.
Yeah, but I mean, the movie, even though the movie has a pretty hefty running time, I think it's worked. I mean,
I think
there were stuff happening basically the entire film.
I think some of the time they used, well, other movies that are too long would use on like useless or unnecessary scenes that you could cut out and not make a difference. I think this movie used that time to properly introduce the setting,
Yeah.
such as the town and seeing the peak of in the window and seeing the whole house of wax. Sure, maybe that could have been cut out, but I think it really like set in like watching all of those wax dolls and going through it all and just watching it and really introduce the concept.
I thought
Only for you to realize that none of them were like real wax figures.
Yeah, well, I thought the whole setting of the film was really creepy as well. The desolated town and spoiler, it turns out that the entire town is just people that has come across the town has been turned into wax dolls.
Yeah. Either they came from the town and got caught up in it, or they were people.
They said at the end of the movie that the town was abandoned for a bunch of years, and the twin brothers that are the killers in the movie has picked off people who have they have lured them into the town with
With an even bigger spoiler here, that unless you have watched the whole movie, don't listen. And they were able to lure them in with the help of their third, most likely youngest brother,
yeah.
who were the one to like guide the people.
Yeah, and they had
And, like-
and they had put out those those blinking things. When there is construction work or something on the road,
Yeah,
just to lure
to
people.
like lead people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. To
And then
to
him
lure them.
breaking their car.
Yeah. to lure the people into the town so they can turn them into wax figures.
But one thing I don't understand is with the like roadkill pit. I don't understand it.
I don't know if that was roadkill, actually.
Well, some of it was.
Yeah, some of it, but I don't think all of it was roadkill. I mean,
No.
they have to eat.
Yeah. Well, you don't necessarily eat roadkill.
No, but they can hunt. And
Yeah.
they were a bit rednecky, all three of them.
Yeah.
So that's what I, thought it was, at least. I might be wrong,
Well-
but...
Well, considering the town ain't real, how else are they supposed to like get things?
Yeah.
Unless like they have some legit business in like the gas station in order to like get money to buy things.
I don't think they had. I don't think so.
No, most likely not. Well, they need to get money somewhere in order to have all the tools they did. Unless they were
Well,
like ancient tools from their mother.
Yeah, I don't know. Might be stealing stuff.
Yeah. They might have been lucky to like murder a doctor and like, oh, look what he had, a bone saw.
Yeah,
Who would have thunk?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They really used the extra time they had to like build up the whole creepy town, and just the scene with the church and them like walking in like, oh, sorry, we interrupted. And like you just
Yeah, that was a really fucking good cop out, by the way.
yeah.
When you first see it, I was pretty fucking sure everyone
was turning around and watching.
Yeah, but then when they return into the church and you realize that they are all wax figures, you're like, hold on a second.
Yeah. And like for the characters, they must have been like caught off guard being in the middle of a funeral that they didn't even think to look at the people in order to like really see if they were alive or not.
Yeah,
And like the girl didn't even realize until she touched one of them
yeah.
and had them fall apart on her. Until she realized that like none of them were real.
Yeah. What did you think about the kills in the movie? I think the most gruesome one must have been Jared Padalecki's character's death.
Yeah.
The
Wade.
Wade, yeah.
Yeah, like he didn't officially die when he... I don't know exactly when his character died, because I don't know if you ever actually see him die into the fire.
He died. I mean, he got
Yeah,
he got
I
he
am-
got half of his face cut off.
Like, I am 100% sure he died, but I'm not sure if he did die from that or if he died from the fire is the thing.
From what I've read, he died by getting half his face cut off.
Because, like, I think it was, like, mostly his cheek and part of his jaw that got cut off, and, like,
Yeah, but the shock.
yeah.
You can die of
Combined
shock.
with everything else.
Yeah.
Combined with everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can die of shock. So
Yeah.
I assume that he died there.
I just think it's unfortunate that you didn't actually see him like die from shock, like either like just seeing his eyes like go completely still, or just give you any indication that he died.
That would have dragged down the tempo of the scene.
Yeah.
Because it happens during a chase scene.
Yeah, because I just feel like they could have shown it like with one of the other characters, I think with like Mikey or like the other girl, when they are doing their multitude of exploring that they do, that they could have just also come across him, seeing him like just gone. Like, it wasn't necessary. And I do agree that his was the most gruesome because it was like the most prolonged and the most painful.
Yeah.
Due to the fact that it got introduced by his, I don't know what it's called, but just above the heel getting cut. That just looked painful. Like, ugh.
Well,
And then-
it's not the first movie that has that kind of thing happen.
No.
But
I can imagine that it's very popular.
not popular, but it has happened in a couple of other horror movies, and it's fucking.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's very effective if you don't want the person you're chasing to run. To cut just there, because I think if you cut just there, they can't, like, properly walk. Because that is where, like, some of the most important parts that make your foot move,
Yeah.
like, properly,
Yeah.
is.
But yeah, I mean, I really don't see what the fuss was about this movie, why people hated it so much. Like I said,
Yeah.
but like you said, probably it was probably because of Paris Hilton, of course. But I mean, it's a well-made movie. It's fast-paced, even though it's almost 2 hours long.
Yeah, it's slow, not painfully slow, but it's also fast paced.
I mean,
Which is
the
interesting.
slow parts are there just to build up to the
Yeah, like
more fast-paced stuff.
yeah, the slow parts are just building blocks, which makes you not notice them being slow, which is a good way to like have slower parts, because I feel like you do need some slow parts in a movie, even though it's fast paced. Even if you just have them in the beginning to introduce the fast parts, or I think that the slow parts are necessary to like properly realize just how fast paced everything is.
Well, you
Like-
you need to have some build-up.
And some like however tiny it is, some breathing room to like properly realize like, oh, now things are like slowing down, they are doing things, and then you realize just how much happened in what you processed.
The thing was, when the ending credits started to roll, I was like, okay, almost 2 hours has passed.
Yeah.
And I didn't really realize it before the credits started to roll. But I highly like this.
Yeah.
Movie.
And also you can't really compare the two because of like the both budget and like the
You can't compare the three. You can't compare the three movies because they are all three
Yeah.
are from different eras.
But I do just want to. I don't mean to like make it a comparison of one being better than the other, but this is just something that popped up into my head when watching the scene of Padlick's character getting completely covered in wax.
Yeah.
That like this scene compared to like the 1953 version,
Yeah.
it made that wax looks like Teletubby sauce. It made that wax looks so innocent and non-harmful.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're trying to say. And sure, I can agree on that, but
I think it's the method of them doing it that also like adds to the thing of
the movie from '53 feels a bit more gothic, while this is
Yeah.
more dark and gritty and what's it called? Dirty.
yeah, and more slashery.
Yeah,
In its-
it is a slasher movie. So
Yeah. So like not compare the two, but it just made me think of that, like just how different they approached the method of covering someone with wax.
Yeah.
With the villain of the 53 one wanted to make it like, I'm just gonna make you a beautiful wax figure. And so he didn't want to do it for suffering. Say he did it for the art of it.
Yeah.
So he just laid them down, made them go to sleep or calm down and whatnot. While the '05 version decided to go for, I may inflict so much pain on you while you are conscious that you can't even imagine. They just went for the viewer's pain factor that they can feel through the character going through this. Like just the thought of getting covered in wax all over, covered head to toe.
Yeah. I'm a bit surprised that this movie wasn't made, in the early 2000s. It's made in the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
I mean, this would have been perfect in, at the end, the tail of the second slasher movie boom.
Oh yeah, which ones were most noticeable?
Scream.
Or
I Know What You Did Last Summer.
yeah.
Scream 2.
Yeah.
I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Valentine. What else came out?
Yeah, I can see that in
Urban Legend.
in smack dabble in that.
Yeah. So, this was... Sure, it was released in the middle of the, the remake wave we got during the 2000s instead. But it had... I'm a bit surprised that it wasn't released earlier. Or produced earlier.
Yeah. They just came late to the party.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess you enjoyed the movie.
I did. And also something I just thought of, like, with them not wanting to hurt the bodies, and then them contradicting that in this movie, that I just wanted to come back to from out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't think the character of Paris Hilton and her boyfriend was supposed to be wax figures. Which is why the dude didn't hold back in killing them, because the first brother that we see, we hear him say when he sees him bring back the bodies that I told him not to do that. Which
Yeah.
makes me think that they weren't meant to be wax figures, and so any deformities they might have visible didn't matter.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like he just killed them before. He just killed them for the killing's sake, so to speak.
Yeah. Which is why Padlick's character wasn't, like, I don't think he was hunted down in a way that would cause visible harm to the wax figure.
Yeah.
The only one I can think of that did happen to was the friend that found him.
Yeah, Dalton, I think his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they cut off his head, but at
Yeah.
the same time you can attach it again.
Yeah, and just covering up with a polo shirt or like a band or something.
Exactly.
While in one hand it was the most noticeable one, except from the other two, it was also a very easily to cover up one. So that's why I think those two got the gruesomeness that they did.
Yeah, you might be right on that. Yeah.
Not that it takes away from them being gruesomely murdered, but
No. I totally agree with you.
It just makes their deaths all the more crueler because they didn't have like a clear cut like reason to kill them.
While
the first two, you can see why.
Yeah, well, if they didn't kill them, they would have been a loose end. So I
Yeah.
guess that's why they had to die. Also,
Yeah.
we needed a bigger body count in the movie. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I really, really fucking liked this movie. I thought it was flawlessly entertaining, and to be
Yeah.
honest, I think I would have loved this movie back in 2005 if I had given it a chance.
Yeah, if you didn't give a crap about all the reviews.
Yeah. Not the reviews, it was just people I knew who had seen it. I didn't read any reviews. But
Well, if you didn't give a crap about all the comments.
yeah, but from what I've read in preparation for this episode, the movie was basically critically slammed. So yeah, but I mean, there are very, very, very few slasher movies that hasn't been slammed by critics. So who gives a shit
Yeah.
what they think?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Speaking of absolutely nothing, I don't know when this episode was made, but Paris Hilton was as well in a Supernatural episode, which is known to be like horror-esque from time to time.
yeah, I read something about and Jared Padalecki is of course one of the brothers.
Yeah.
In Supernatural.
And the funny thing about that is that she was playing a wax figure of herself.
Okay, that's a pretty nice reference to this movie then.
Yeah, like they were hunting some kind of monster that was possessing wax figures, and it was supposedly only possessing wax figures of famous people, and so Paris Hilton was one of those famous people that it possessed as
What the fuck?
the wax figure of Paris Hilton, which was a very nice reference that I just realized watching this movie, like, nice. It was just
I need to watch that entire series. I've seen a couple of episodes of it, and I've liked what I've seen, but I mean, it's 15 fucking seasons to get through, so
yeah, it's so long.
yeah. And I got tons of other series to watch, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, do we have anything else to add to what we already talked about? The what's it called? The climax of the movie. What did you think about that? Real quick.
Worked really well.
I thought it was.
I don't know why they made an entire house of wax
I thought it.
that
I'm
never melted.
Yeah, it was. You know, you have to suspend some disbelief.
Yeah.
But I personally think the climax was fucking awesome.
It was.
With the entire wax museum just melting.
Yeah. It felt a bit cliche with the girl trying to like reason with the disfigured brother.
Yeah.
Like it would like change. I know it might have been like trying to be like, oh, she's trying to desperately survive here, but it also felt like a I can change him kind of attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you don't need to do this just because your family tells you to. Like, this dude just brutally murdered, you might not know this, but 2 of your friends for no reason. And like, he has been in information.
And you have just killed his brother.
Yeah, and also the fact that with the clues she has, the brothers has lived together their whole life. You think you can just undo all of that indoctrination because you have done nothing to prove to him that he doesn't need to do what he did. You just did possibly the opposite of it by murdering his brother. Like, in what situation was he just gonna put down his weapon and say, you're right, have a good day?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it aside from that, the climax was good. just seeing everything melt and sink as a, like, I don't know how to describe it, but as like you seeing the time running out
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
Like, it was a representation that you're running out of time. Just
Yeah,
seeing
it's
everything.
it's a race against the clock type of
Yeah,
thing.
and like they visualized that race against the clock very good with everything sinking, everything melting, and just seeing that something that was once solid, like that she ran up into like a mostly still solid stair, only for the brother to go on the same stair and start sinking into the steps.
Yeah.
And just seeing that.
Which reminded me a little bit about a sequence from A Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984.
Ah. Yeah.
You haven't seen A Nightmare on Elm Street?
I have, but I don't remember which scene you're talking
Oh,
about.
okay.
I have seen the first one.
Yeah, good. But yeah, I mean, I think the climax was really good.
Yeah.
It was big, bombastic, loud, intense, fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, no,
And we did have survivors more than just the final girl,
yeah, we
even though it was
yeah we
just one dude.
yeah we had a final boy as well, which was
Yeah, which was like a bit of a twist.
yeah. I was certain that the brother would die. I was really surprised that he survived, actually.
Because in that kind of study, it would kind of have become like a twin for a twin, in a way. You kill my twin, I kill yours.
Yeah,
But the final battle was really like a big old sibling fight with twins versus twins.
yeah,
Because we might not have mentioned this before, but the final girl and boy were twins as well as the brothers being twins.
yeah.
So it really did become twin on twin violence, which is kind of maybe why they also let him survive, to show them being the superior twins in a way, by being the survivors, both of them.
Yeah, maybe.
Like the victims survived the killers in a way, of putting them in two teams.
Yeah.
It's just speculation all around, but yeah.
Yeah, you're just pulling it out of your ass, I kind of guess.
Yeah. But it's also like maybe that was the case, but that's just what I believe might be the case why
Yeah,
they let him survive.
yeah.
But I did like the final twist that they had up their sleeve.
Yeah, with the third
the
brother.
third brother.
Yeah, but I mean that twist. I knew something was up with that guy because I was thinking like, what the fuck happened to him?
At this very same time, he just felt like a walking, talking red herring.
Yeah,
Like he was supposed to be creepy to make you suspect him.
yeah. But
Which-
when you see him drive away, that's the last time you see
Yeah.
him until right before the end
end.
credits.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really surprised about that twist, but
Yeah, but-
but I knew something was up with him.
Yeah, but just the twist that he being like sure he was involved, but like him being a brother as well
Yeah,
is the bigger twist.
I thought
And,
I
like,
thought that he would, he would be involved somehow, but
Yeah, being like a friend to the brothers or
Yeah.
something.
not that he would be their brother.
No. At most, one would suspect him being a friend or simply an accomplice for one reason or another,
Yeah,
but not to be their own flesh and blood.
yeah,
And in that realization, you haven't ended the family bloodline. So yeah, that was nice.
It was. Should we wrap the review up and go into back row, perhaps?
Yes.
Your rating?
My rating. I will give this a 7 out of 10 for the time being.
Might improve on watching the movie, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
because this is definitely something that one can come back to in like
Yeah, definitely.
a year or two.
Yeah, this is more of a party movie. You put it on in the background while drinking some drinks and talking shit.
Yeah. It feels like that kind of movie that you put on in the background, planning for it to just be in the background, and then just more and more people gather to actually see the movie.
Yeah.
Like, and it at one point stops being a background movie and just being the movie that we're all watching now. But yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
what is your rating of it?
My rating will be 10 out of 10.
Nice, nice.
When you initially said that we were gonna cover this, I was like, oh god, okay.
Like, fuck you.
Yeah, sorta, actually, because I remembered what people had said about it. But,
Yeah.
at the same time...
And to be honest,
At the same time, I was a bit curious about it as well, because it has been 18 years, and my taste in movies has changed drastically since then.
yeah. Yeah.
And, well, I really enjoyed it. I thought even though it was almost 2 hours long, like I said earlier, it never felt slow in a way that I was like, okay, come on, get going.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just had a fun time with it. I watched it with you and Tagger.
Yeah.
And the company really helped as well. I mean, we were, commenting stuff that happened in the movie, and we were laughing together and everything.
Yeah.
If I had seen it alone, I don't think I would have had as fun with it as I had, but I would have.
I can see that.
I would have enjoyed it as much, I think. Mostly because I am a slasher movie fan. I love slasher movies. And this movie was straight up my alley. This was tons of fun. And if anyone has seen the movie when it was initially released and hated it back then, go back and rewatch it. I think you will enjoy it more now.
Yeah, and if you were one of those people that simply disliked it because Paris Hilton was in it, give it a second try.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not as bad as you remember it being. Now that you have grown out of that hate bubble.
Yeah, and like I said at the beginning when we started talking about the movie, Paris Hilton isn't that bad in the movie. And her role is so small that, I mean, she doesn't really do any difference besides, upping the body count of the film.
Yeah. Oh, I just remembered something in the movie.
Yeah.
That really, just you could feel the pain of the character is when the girl is trying to get her brother's attention through the
grate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Bo,
Like that.
and Bo, the one of the twins.
Yeah. I just thought he was gonna step on her fingers in order to warn her not doing that shit, but he went 5 miles beyond my expectation and just got out a pair of wire cutters and just snip. The finger gone.
Yeah, the fingertip. Yeah, that was a big ouch.
That was a big ouch.
And another big ouch moment was when Dalton finds Wade and he tries to remove the wax.
Oh yeah, and just bits and pieces.
Yeah, all three of us was like, "What the fuck, man? Stop it!"
Yeah. And like he sees what he's doing and just panics and continues.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
and you can just see Wade have a silent tear fall down. Like, it is so painful.
yeah,
Like, at that point, this wax and skin has melded together, and I think the skin being so heat treated at that point, basically to some degree being boiled,
yeah,
it is so easily removable. Just even if he wasn't covered in wax, I think his skin at that point would have been just as easily removed anyways, because of how exposed to heat it had been.
yeah. Well, he was essentially a burn victim under the
Yeah.
wax. I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of did the same. It had kind of the same effect as a burn victim that has been burned severely. If you touch the burned skin, it just falls off.
Yeah.
Or rather slips off.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah,
Like any boils that skin might have had, it was concealed in wax instead. So yeah, that was just pain.
yeah.
Pain one can't even imagine.
I don't want to imagine it either.
No. And then just seconds after that, his half the face just get cut off. So
Yeah. That
Like-
was a really good effect, by the way.
Yeah. Like, the dude might be a dick, but he didn't deserve that, to be honest.
Was Wade a dick?
He trespassed
Well,
in the House of Wax, and then
yeah.
he continuously trespassed while getting that rubber thing for his car.
Yeah,
And I think he made, like, fun of everything in it in the meanwhile.
true.
Like, he wasn't a bad dude, is not what I'm saying. He was a dick in the, like, person sense of... Not in the movie sense of being a dick, meaning you're the, like, worst person ever. But being a dick in the, like, just a random dude you might see doing something a bit douchey. Ah, that's a dick. In that kind of sense, I mean. But yeah, wrapping up the movie, which we have been doing for like the past 15 minutes.
The past 15 minutes, it's been like 5 minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, it has felt like we've been like trying to close up the movie for the past 15.
No, I mean, there isn't that much to say about it, really. I mean, it's
a good movie, it's well made, and
it didn't deserve the shit it got, in my opinion.
And to be honest, it did a lot with the source materials that it got.
Yeah.
Like, just... It's extremely different from the first one. Like, the concept of turning people into wax is the very same. But most of anything else is completely different.
Yeah.
So they feel...
I
They feel like two different movies rather than one being a remake of the other.
Yeah, well, I don't think the original concept would have worked in 2005. I don't think so. Because
I don't think so
the
either.
1933 and 1953 movies had more of a gothic style to them. While this, like I said earlier, has a more gritty, dark, and dirty style to it.
Yeah. Like, if it would have worked if they went more like either thriller or just horror and not the bloody path of it. And being more of like either a detective kind of movie-ish, where you have people trying to hunt down this person killing people and everything. If they went that route of it and not go for the slasher body count and blood kind of deal, it would have worked. If they went horror instead of slasher and like...
Slasher is horror.
Yeah, but not in like... I feel in my eyes, slasher is a sub-genre of horror, while horror in itself isn't necessarily always bloody. I feel horror is more the scary parts, and
Well,
what you do with that scariness or how you interpret it is all the subcategories of it, I feel.
well, slasher movies are a type of horror movie, and it is a subgenre. You're correct about that. And horror in itself is multiple subgenres, like aliens, slasher movies, ghost movies, possession movies, zombie movies.
And it's more like an umbrella term.
Yeah.
For all of it.
What you mean is that if they made the movie more into a thriller than a horror movie, the concept of the original, or well, in quotations, the original movie from '53 would have worked as a thriller in 2005. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and when I mean horror instead of slasher, I mean the original concept of horror removed from the movie genre concept, in that something is horrifying in a sense, and going for more of a, how should I say it, silent horror or terror. Terror is what I'm thinking of most likely, is that it goes more for terror rather than slasher.
Terror movies. Terror movies is also known as rape revenge movies.
Oh.
Like Spit on Your Grave and Last House on the Left.
Yeah. Because what I have understood of the word terror and its meaning is that it is the build-up to horror. In that you are terrified, but you are not horrified. But you can become horrified from terrified.
Well, I'm speaking of the term terror as
the movie term.
Yeah, terror as a subgenre is also known as rape revenge.
Yeah.
And those are usually they don't have to be a horror movie. They can also be an action movie.
Yeah, and I'm speaking mostly from the like emotion.
Well,
Emotional aspect.
The movie could have worked as a thriller, like a detective thriller, in 2005.
Yeah,
but
like they could have gone in the direction of Hannibal, the TV series.
I haven't seen the TV series.
In a way.
I've seen the movies though. But yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, in that case it would. But I liked how different they were. The 05 and the 53 and 05 movie. That they felt like two entirely different movies with simply the same concept of of human wax dolls.
Yeah, I totally agree. But if I had to pick one of them, I would pick the 2005 movie.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I just appreciate that fact that they didn't try too hard to like make the remake like they didn't try to cling to the original too hard. They just took the concept rather than the whole.
They took the concept and they did something new with it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that works in remakes, sometimes it doesn't work.
And this time it did really well.
Yeah.
And also, speaking of the 53 one, I don't know if it was intentional at all or not, but I do think that one of the brothers were named Price or Vincent.
Yes, the deformed brother was called Vincent. His name was Vincent.
Yeah,
I didn't think. I didn't think about that. That must have been a nod to Vincent Price. It must have been.
yeah. That's what I thought at the time. That might have been a Vincent Price nod to the 53 one, which was just nice. And I think that is the most reference they did to the
53
to that
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now we are starting to come up with 15 minutes of trying to close this up. Let's move on to background then.
Yeah. Let's.
I sent you some background that you're gonna read up in a little bit, but I start off with a couple of things here. The budget was $40 million. The worldwide gross of the film was about 68.8 million. And the opening weekend in the US and Canada was about $12 million. And despite making an abysmal $10 million opening weekend on a $40 million budget, the film was moderately successful in terms of ultimately earning $32 million domestically in the US and Canada. The film made, like I said, almost $70 million worldwide, but that wasn't enough to recoup the entire budget and including marketing costs, resulting in the film being a financial disappointment. But the movie eventually made its money back on home video sales and rentals, and that's probably why we never got a sequel. I don't know how they could do a sequel on that ending either, but anyways.
It could have simply been another similar killer, or they could have continued on with the brother, I don't know.
Yeah, well, they would have probably bullshitted the ending if they did a sequel.
If they wanted the original brothers.
Yeah. On 26th of June 2004, a soundstage being used for the film burned to the ground during a test of special effects equipment. The fire started by a camel destroyed a studio at Warner Bros. Movie World on Australia's Gold Coast. One crew member was treated for burns to his arm, but no one else was injured. The smoke reached a nearby highway, which was not shut down.
Wow.
Yeah. The film was one of 5 major horror remakes released in 2005. The other 4 films was Dark Water, which is a remake of an Japanese movie from 2001, I think. The Fog, which is a remake of John Carpenter's The Fog from 81, I think, or 82.
Oh, I think I've heard about that one a little bit.
The Amityville Horror, starring Ryan Reynolds, if I remember correctly, and it's, of course, the remake of the 70s movie with the same title. And Chaos, which is a loose remake of The Last House on the Left, but
a lot of remakes.
Yeah, in just 1 year as well.
Yeah.
But the Chaos is... I have seen it. It's fucking awful. But they've changed all the characters' names and everything, but the plot is basically the exact same thing as in The Last House on the Left, which got a proper remake, I think in 2008 or 2009. I might remember wrong about the year, but anyways. The film was nominated for 3 Razzies, including Worst Picture, Worst Supporting Actress for Paris Hilton, and
Of course.
yeah, and Worst Remake or Sequel. The film, in quotations, lost Worst Picture to Dirty Love, and Worst Remake or Sequel to Son of the Mask. Have you seen Son of the Mask?
I hate that movie.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that they lost to that one infuriates me. Like, that they were crowned the worst remake than that one.
No. I mean, they lost. Son of the Mask got the worst remake or
Worst.
sequel.
Well, then,
Razzie.
thank God that they didn't. That they lost to them in that category.
Yeah, that movie is fucking garbage.
It is so bad. And like the fact that this one it was in the category also of a worst remake, it is like, what?
Yeah,
You don't like horror movies? Screw you.
but Hilton, in quotations, won worst supporting actress, which I really don't understand it. She isn't that bad.
Well, that would depend on if I don't say that she's the worst supporting actress, but like, what other supporting actresses of the year was she competing against?
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
I don't think that she is deserving of the title, but we also don't know which other actresses was in the category as well. And that and at that point it just feels like a harp on the old banjo of "We Hate Paris Hilton."
Yeah. The film was nominated for the MTV Movie Award, Best Scared as Shit Performance for Paris Hilton.
She was scared.
But she lost to Jennifer Carpenter, who appeared in The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Jennifer Carpenter is Deborah in the Dexter TV series. And the last thing I got here is the film was nominated for 4 Teen Choice Awards, including Best Horror Film, Best Actor, Action, Adventure, Thriller for Chad Michael Murray. I think he played Nick, the twin brother.
Yeah.
Best Actress, Action, Adventure, Thriller for Eliza Cuthbert. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She played the final girl. And Best Scream Scene of the Year for Paris Hilton.
Nice.
It won Best Horror Film, Best Actor, Action Adventure Thriller for Murray, and Best Scream Scene of the Year. So Paris Hilton won again.
Yeah, she went to worst to best.
Yeah, depending on which
Which one you ask?
yeah, apparently. But that's everything I had. Well, it wasn't everything I had, but I sent you some stuff.
What do you mean? I found this all by myself. You taking credit for all of my hard work? Shame on you. But yeah. Had to readjust myself, sorry about the sound. Even though the film is partially an Australian film production. It is the first one of the 2 Australian slasher films released in 2005. The second film released being The Wolf Creek of 2005. And we have already mentioned there being more than 2 of these movies. There are 3 House of Wax. Just putting it out there as a fact on the fact list. And but this film is the second film of 2 of the horror film released in 2005, which consists of 2 main characters who are somewhat strained brother and sister pair. The first film is Cursed from 2005, which is a Wes Craven / Kevin Williamson movie.
And Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson worked together on Scream 1, 2, and 4. Wes directed the first 4 Scream movies, and Kevin wrote part 1, 2, and 4. He also wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer, and he is, yeah. And I think he also wrote The Faculty, and there was another one around the 2000s he wrote. I can't remember which was. But anyways.
Yeah. Wes, yeah, it is as mentioned that he directed the first 4 Scream movies. For some reason, never watched any of the Scream movies or What You Did Last Summer, but somehow in my mind I still mix them up when thinking about them. I don't know how I can do that, never having watched either of them.
Well, part 6 was released on Blu-ray like a month ago. I haven't seen it yet,
nice.
So...
You know, I just gotta leave small golden nuggets for myself to watch throughout the years of like good horror movies. Otherwise there is no left. But yeah, the creepy little town that this movie was filmed in was actually built for the movie. The town of Ambrose being constructed in 10 weeks actually. And it was modeled after a real town in Eritrea called Asmara.
Asmara, I think it's called.
Asmara.
I don't know.
I can't pronounce words anymore.
No, I cannot.
Called Asmara. Asmara was built by the Italians in Africa during World War II. In the modern style rather than the Deco style, which was more popular at the time. And Brian Van Holt says the role of both Beau and Vincent Sinclair undergoing an extensive hair and makeup transformation for the latter.
Yeah. He played both of the Psycho twins.
Yeah. Which makes sense, them being identical twins.
Yeah, exactly.
Which also works because we rarely see them together. And most of the time when we do see them together, one of them has their face covered.
Yeah. So they have to use a stand-in, I guess.
Yeah. But the fact that the town was built in 10 weeks is impressive. Like, sure, I'm pretty positive that they only did like the outside of most buildings and very little of the insides of them.
Yeah.
Mostly focusing on the ones that are going to be filmed in. But still, in order to build that much in like, what is that, 2.5 months, I think. it's still
Yeah,
like
2.5 months. But you gotta remember the movie got a $40 million budget, so there was
but-
probably a pretty big crew who built the set.
most likely because it looks very much like a proper town.
Yeah, it does. But
So they really
there's a lot of trick.
outdid themselves.
There's a lot of trick filming and everything as well.
Yeah, most likely. But still, yeah, I just think that's a bit impressive. Just having people around me that actually build for a living. And sure, they might only be like 2 people that, when they do stuff at home, does them. But still, just imagine like 100 people working on a fake town. Like, what did you build today, honey? A fake town? Like what? Excuse me?
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Like we said in the last episode, we won't reveal what will be coming next.
And I don't know if we ever mentioned this in the episode. I think you mentioned it several times, but officially we're mentioning it now that this was my pick for the episode.
Yes. It was yours.
And we will see in the next episode what will happen next.
Yeah. But we are.
You'll just have to stay tuned.
Yeah. But we are playing out with Disturbed Prayer, which plays during House of Wax.
Yeah. During the car scene, right?
Yeah, at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like 10 minutes into the film or something like that. 5 minutes, perhaps.
But yeah, well, time to say goodbye to the good people.
Goodbye, everyone. I hope we'll hear from you in the next one. We'll see what we covered down.
Goodbye, good people. Thank you for listening to this episode. It might be weird, but thank you for listening and sticking through till the end. And hopefully you'll find us in the next episode.
Yep.
Or one of our older ones, whichever one you take.
Yep. Goodbye.
Bye bye.